Do you buy vinyl?
Greetings, this is Mike Huckaby from Detroit, and this is what's in my bag. Found quite a bit of stuff actually. First off would be this Ron Trent box set that just came out recently. It's a load of older prescription tracks, stuff he did with Ches Demire. It's got this one production with Harry Dennis and Ron Trent that I kind of like.
I walk a crooked mile on the backs of crocodiles, just to give a few.
If you're a Ron Trent fan, this is a good place to collect all of these titles in just one box set. A.B., his album that just came out. I've just been killing that track. It's Man Over Machine on that album. Kerri Chandler, Atmospheric Dubs. I never thought I would see another version of the Atmosphere EP, but this is a really good one. The intro that he uses, it starts off with a different intro. It's just a different mix all together, and it works actually. A band called Flash. Now this was really interesting because Ron Trent actually is the executive producer.
Baby, I just know the phantoms of my love with
It's kind of like devotional to like the New York house scene of the 80s. You should check this out. It's 2 volumes of that. Sleep. Now this is a cool album for like rocks, for like stoner rock. I got turned on to this by this cat named Richard that I used to work with. I guess it's a like cult following of Sleep fans. Definitely check out Sleep and like Dope Smoker and Jerusalem. This was Sun Ra Outer Space Ways Incorporated. Really good drum track here where they go off for like 15 minutes. Another Sun Ra composition. Haven't really heard it, but it's got We Travel to Space Ways on it.
Space Ways, the planet.
Love in Outer Space.
Sunrise in outer space, love for every face.
You'll often see like a lot of Sun Ra productions where there's like multiple versions of them on each album, and they're all different. And there's different like periods of Sun Ra. He also did like the bebop section like in the 50s. The period I'm mostly interested in is the 70s when he experimented heavily with synthesizers and free jazz and these type of things. Thing about Sun Ra is that like he often needs an introduction, and then the introduction actually needs an introduction, because sometimes it's a bit too abstract and obscure for people. So like Space is the Place is always like the introductory track, because that's what they mostly know him by, and then there's the movie Space is the Place. And that's why I do a lot of edits to like make the drumming parts really congruent. So that you can follow it, because usually after every bar it just gets more abstract. So kind of have to bring it together, and then you have to let people hear Sun Ra in this entirety of like how he composed. Paul Nice, this dude is a digger. Paul Nice is that deal. The loops and samples and breaks this guy comes up with are like amazing. I'm definitely buying this one. I have all his drum libraries, every one of them. Can't say it enough, like you need to check out Paul Nice. Classic, no introduction needed, John Coltrane, A Love Supreme. Never really had this on vinyl actually, but this is just classic jazz. Like if you're into jazz, this is a no-brainer. Another classic, Alice Coltrane. Alice Coltrane, really, that's interesting, was married to John Coltrane, and like she is kind of overshadowed, but Alice Coltrane is a beast on the keys. This album, like just all these tracks are just brilliant. A Return to Forever by Chick Corea. I grew up listening to this album. You got Chick Corea, Al Di Meola, Stanley Clarke, and Lenny White on drums. This is just a classic album right here. Erotic drum band. We're moving more into like the disco here, but Plug Me to Death. Just like a really crazy, energetic, like rhythm track or break. I've never really seen this version before, but I always kind of buy them whenever I see them. I thought this was interesting. I didn't hear it, but Madvillain, the Quartet remixes. This could be really interesting to see what this collaboration led to.
I don't think we can handle a style so rancid. He flipped it like Madvillain did the old jazz.
Always check Madlib. Madlib is highly revered to me. He's a digger, and dude says he makes an album a day. Gotta give it up to Madlib. Floating Points. Just brilliant music, brilliant production. If you were checking maybe Flying Lotus or just some type of free jazz or experimental or electronica, definitely in the pocket. Floating Points. He performs live in Europe. Don't know if he really performs live in the States so much, but you should definitely check him out if you ever see a Floating Points concert. Now, this is a reissue on Delson. I got a white label on this. It should be this. I'm pretty sure it's Trespassers. This is a classic techno track. It just works all the time. Back to like Madlib and production, Lupac, classic album. I mean, if you're into Madlib, you're into Quasimodo, you're into Lupac, you gotta have this.
I got the vibe. Check 1, 2, 3. Wild with the style. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2, 3. Jack wreck the rhyme. Hell yeah.
Madvillain, classic album with him and MF Doom. Staple album here. Another classic across the board, even if you're into techno or house or if you're into breaks, whatever, is Emmanuel Gotching, E2, E4. This is just like for listening, your listening pleasure. Been revered in house circles, been revered in techno circles, hip hop circles. Like, no, this is another no-brainer. Pharoah Sanders, Karma LP. The Creator Has a Master Plan. Classic spiritual jazz, if you will.
The Creator has a master plan. Peace and happiness for every man.
You really should check out the albums that Pharoah Sanders did with Lonnie Liston Smith. That was a really interesting combination. There was a definite spiritual connection in the recordings that they did. A Themby is one album. Definitely want to check out that. So that's really what's in my bag. Not so much house, because I play house and techno, but I used to work in a record store, and once a record store guy, always a record store guy.